What is up, fellow gamers? It's me, the Blue Man. Now, I've been looking at the types of videos I've been making on the channel, and it looks like a lot of them are very negative. Like, specifically, my video game or movie reviews have been pretty negative. The last one I did was Free Guy, I didn't like that. The one I did before was Doctor Who: The Lonely Assassins, didn't like it. And then the one before that, Godzilla vs. Kong, I didn't like it. The other videos have either been unboxings or discussions based around news, so they don't count. I want to shift my view onto something positive, and that would be Nintendo's latest video game franchise revival, Metroid Dread. Prior to Metroid Dread, I'd actually never played a Metroid game. I had played the NES game for 5 minutes and gave up because I got lost. Yep. So I was dreading playing Metroid Dread. I was scared of getting lost, but fortunately, that didn't happen too much. It happened 3 times, and for one of those times, I actually looked for a walkthrough. Not proud of myself. But that actually leads me to one of the things I love about Metroid Dread, which is the fact that it's so good at leading you to the right path. And the reason why I got lost was because I got too ahead of myself and started exploring, which is really cool because I didn't even notice that I was being subtly guided by the game, so I thought I was doing all the work myself and ended up exploring myself, which, you know, got me lost. But once I realized the game was guiding me, everything was smooth sailing from then on. Metroid Dread's difficulty is also like, it's a pretty hard game. I died a lot, especially to the Emmys, but it's not excruciatingly like mind-bogglingly difficult. It's actually really easy once you learn the attack patterns and everything. They're actually really simple. With the Emmys, they don't really do much. They just chase you down, some can stun you, but it's really a matter of learning the map and not running into corners, and you should be fine. So you should be dying the first few times, but once you get to know the area, then you're safe. And that's the same with the bosses as well. Once you learn their attacks and how to counter them and how to beat them up as quick as possible, then you're good. Most bosses would take me like a good 3 tries just to learn everything, and then on that 3rd try I would nail it. And by the way, this is coming from a guy who has never played a Metroidvania, because it's weird, people are just saying it's really hard. It is hard, again, it is hard, you're gonna die a lot, but it's not super hard to the point where it's frustrating. And my friend, who I borrowed the game from, he said it took him like 20 tries, more than 20 tries to beat the final boss. It took me like 3, but I'm not sure how hard other people have found the boss, so I don't know if you're watching the video and if you play the final boss, please tell me in the comments below, how many times did it take you to beat it? Because it's not that hard. It's the final boss and it's not that hard. And I'm not complaining here, I really enjoyed the final boss, and I enjoyed the fact that it was easy because I felt powerful and cool, and I felt really rewarded when I found out that I did so much better than my friends. So I think I'm just a little insecure about my gaming skills because there was this period of time where I'd just play a lot of FPS games with my friends because that's all they played, so that's all I could play with them. And you know, I'd just be really bad at the games because I didn't grow up with FPS games, and for some reason my friends use that as like a measurement of how good at games I am, like just because I didn't grow up with FPS games and I didn't have a chance to practice them all my life, and suddenly I'm just bad at games in general. Like why don't you play other games? Like please, just why do you only play FPS games? How boring are you? I'm also really loving Samus's character. She literally doesn't speak throughout the entire game except for like 1 line, and that's like it's so cool that she only speaks for 1 line. And all the fight choreography and the cutscenes and, you know, the scripted animated sections mid bosses, they're just so cool. I mean, just look at her here. She's just standing there charging up her blaster. How cool is that? Like she's literally the definition of Mary Sue, but it's fine because it's in the context of a video game, so we don't really need a protagonist who has like a weakness that grows over time. We just need a character that's really cool and that we could just project ourselves onto. There are a few gripes I have with the game. I wish the game was longer, especially with how many power-ups there were. It just felt like some of the power-ups were overlooked. I'm sure they have a lot of moments to shine if you explored more, but I just played for purely going through the story, and there wasn't a lot of breathing room between some of the power-ups. I also didn't find the story too impactful because I've never played a Metroid game before and I never really taught myself any of the Metroid lore, so when I played the game I just thought like Chozos were a new race or a new species of alien. But recently I just learned that it was already established that the Chozos raised Samus, so a lot of the story kind of went over my head. When the final like crazy big revelation happened at the end, I was just like, what? So maybe it'd be good if Nintendo ported the 3DS Metroid 2 game onto Switch and then remade Metroid 1, Super Metroid, and Metroid Fusion on Switch as well, so that, you know, newer fans have a way to go back and learn the lore and, you know, have Metroid Dread actually mean something to them. The final gripe I have is the price of the game. It's $80 in Australia and $60 US, I think, and it is an 8-hour game. I beat it in 7 hours and 39 minutes, or at least that's what the game told me. I don't know if it records deaths or if it records, you know, menu screens, but that is how long the game told me. And, you know, 8 hours, $80 or 60 US dollars, it doesn't really seem that worth it. At the end of the day, this feels like something even an indie game studio could conjure up, so it doesn't really feel like it's worth $80, maybe $60 Australian and $40 US. In Australia, Breath of the Wild is just $10 more than Metroid Dread, and in terms of budget, scale, and the amount of content, Breath of the Wild is like a billion light years ahead of Metroid Dread, but there's only a $10 difference in Australia, and I think in America they're literally the same price. So if I hadn't had borrowed the game from a friend, I probably wouldn't have played it until like months later. But despite that, I still love the game, and I'll probably pick up my own copy if it's on sale on the eShop, because for some reason Nintendo games don't go on sale in retail stores. But otherwise, if you did enjoy this video, please leave it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and leave comments. It helps with the algorithm.